With the US presidential elections just around the corner, opinion polls show Republican candidate Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris in a tight race. Both campaigns are concentrating on key swing states, which have historically played a significant role in election outcomes. Pennsylvania is now one of the big ones that could determine which way people could vote, and of course, that determining who sits in the Oval Office. We're joined by Daniel Mallinson. He is Professor of Public Policy at Pennsylvania State University. Thanks, Daniel, for joining us here today on US Election Watch. Daniel, Pennsylvania is one of the 7 of those toss-up states in this year's election. As we know, in the US elections, it's all about that electoral college vote. And amongst the 7 swing states, none has more of those electoral votes than Pennsylvania. So that's really, really important. Give us a sense of how the state has voted in the past, flipping from between red and blue.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. So Pennsylvania, as was noted on the chyron there, voted for Democratic candidates for president for about 2 decades. And then that flipped in 2016 when former President Trump won the state and won the White House. It flipped back to President Biden in 2020, and now it's up for grabs again. In both of those last 2 races, the state was won by those candidates by only a few tens of thousands of votes. So it's about a 0.5 percentage point win for Trump in 2016 and a 1 percentage point win for Biden in 2020. So it's been very close.
All right. Now, a poll this week by a bipartisan group found that Harris's lead over Trump is 49% to Trump's 47%. 3% of voters are still undecided. Now, with less than a month from Election Day, what is it that's keeping these undecided voters from knowing for sure, yes, I'm going to vote for Harris, or yes, I'm going to vote for Trump?
Yeah, it's a good question. So there's actually there's some interesting breakdown within those undecided voters. There's a very slim number of truly undecided voters, and they're very kind of diverse group. Like understanding exactly what's holding them back is challenging, right? It's something that there's been a lot of interviews in the media here with undecided voters, and they all sort of have different issues that they're concerned about or going back and forth between the candidates on. But there's actually also some of those undecided voters are partisans, so they have voted in the past either Republican or Democrat. And if you look within Democrats, there's very little undecidedness left, right? And you see Harris at 49%. There's actually still a bit of undecidedness among leaning Republicans, so those Republicans that don't love Trump, but if the past is what we would expect in this case, they will probably end up voting for him in the end. So the margin again is going to be much closer than that 3%.
Daniel, like in other swing states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, Indian Americans have really been growing in numbers. Now, Indians are the largest Asian American ethnic group in Pennsylvania. What are some of the concerns for this Indian American community in Pennsylvania going into the election?
Yeah, so I mean, the concerns are very similar to other voters. The economy is a top concern. The inflation in the past few years has really been affecting Americans quite a bit, and you see that in this race in terms of that is the top concern that voters have reported. Indian Americans, though, have also in polling shown to be very concerned about the war in Gaza and are very critical of the Biden administration and Israel and the conduct of the war in Gaza. So that is something that has been shown to be of particular interest within that community. But it is a very diverse community. There's about 50% are Democrats, about 25% are Republicans, and then 25% are independent, at least here in Pennsylvania. And so you have folks that are business owners and are more attracted to Trump. You have others that are a little more maybe a little more socially liberal and attracted to Harris.
Sure. Thanks very much indeed. That was Daniel Mallinson with the Pennsylvania State University joining us here on NDTV US Election Watch.